Welcome to Creative Pages with Catherine. I'm Catherine, and it's time for sketch number 10 from the September 2023 Worldwide Virtual Crop. Now, I have live streamed all of the other sketches, and this one has been the most challenging of this series for me. Took me a couple of hours, basically off and on, to put this one together. It was like, one of those really hard levels in Candy Crush. I don't know which one they say it is, what, 46, 70? I have no idea. But it kind of felt like I don't know if I was making it harder on myself or it was just the amount of math that I needed to do because I am going to be using vellum again, and I wanted to use up one sheet and then use some scraps for another part of this layout. So maybe I made it a little bit harder on myself without realizing it, but I hope you all will enjoy the results. So let me get things switched over so you can see what we're going to be working on here. And here it is. I'm a little bit off camera, but that's okay. I left it together kind of on purpose because I didn't want to forget where everything went. Like I said, it took me a long time just to work it all out and cut the vellum so it made sense. So here is the sketch. Yes, there's a lot of writing on this one at the bottom, especially for the top, middle, and bottom vellum pieces. The top is shorter than the bottom because, again, like I said, I wanted to use one sheet of paper up. And then since this is a 2-page layout, of course, it had to go across both sheets. And then I didn't do it as short as what they suggested in the sketch. Go figure. So I added another challenge to myself, apparently. They recommended 9 inches, and I don't know, I just couldn't make that work. I wound up doing 7 inches for the wider piece on all 3 layers, in part because okay, let me move these up. I hope I don't forget which one goes on the bottom and which one goes on the top. This I know goes on the top because this goes on the bottom. So here is what I had. And okay, well, that's a little piece of vellum there, but that's okay. I need to keep this out. I'm just going to set it over here a minute. So this is what I was working with. I had a scrap of the darker blue vellum. Hang on, let me grab a index sheet so that way y'all can see which one it is. I had this darker blue from Q the Blue that I'd used for something else. And so basically I just had essentially a square. And so I cut these 2 pieces off of that square. I had to cut it in half. I had to figure out how to do the banner part or the ribbon part or whatever these are called, the design part. There we go. And then also I had just a little bit left of the floral vellum that we used in sketch number 1 in the September 2023 virtual crop. So I wanted to go ahead and use up what I had of that. And then conversely, I had an entire strip of the striped paper. And that's how I wound up where I am right now, with the stripes on the top and the bottom, and then my scraps in the middle. And 7 inches happened to be what worked for this piece here. And this one I'm actually going to put vellum tape runner onto my mat because this is going to go underneath this piece of vellum here. Oops, I probably shouldn't have done that. Well, hold on. I'm going to grab out my my silicone mat here, And I'm going to grab my regular tape runner because this I can use that on. And I'm going to line this up this way first because this is kind of the very first piece on this left side of the page. And I kind of wanted to line up where the lines just go through the center of this mat because this is going to be my journal mat. And it's here. Look, see here, lines indicating that you can journal right there. Well, I wanted to take it up a notch. Apparently, I need to put a little bit of vellum tape runner on this, and then I also need to straighten it out just a little bit because it looks like I'm just a little bit crooked. And then we can burnish it and do whatever we want to it, but I want to straighten this out just a hair. Okay, I'm not going to push anything down all the way yet. I'm going to put this on here. We need to make sure we have a gap. We don't want this all the way at the bottom. We want the actual mat is going to hit rest just above the bottom. So that's kind of our line for that. This was one of our 4.5 by 6.5 inch mats. This is where this is off, just a hair. Okay, there's that. And now that can go down, and it does need to be burnished. So I need to grab my bone folder. You just kind of rub over it until you just really don't see the tape anymore. And then you can easily write on this vellum. So you can see the lines going across either through the journal mat here, or you can use the lines that are actually on the vellum when you go to write. Either way, but I liked having options, I guess. And I also thought it added an extra cool design element, but it also gave me a point to start with putting this page together as well. So now this is going to go at the beginning of the cardstock here. I did use navy cardstock to work on. I guess I probably should have mentioned that as well. Oh, I dropped my ruler earlier, so I'm just going to have to eyeball this. Let me get myself lined up a little bit better here. Here we go. So apparently you're either lining up your... Oh, that looks pretty good. Okay, so basically we're creating essentially like a 1/2 inch. This one looks a little bit closer to 3/4 gap here. My piece is 3.5 inches tall. So 3.5 by 7 is what this was. And then this was all one strip, and then I kind of free cut it. I put this on to my 13 by 13 cutting mat. I lined it up so it got centered, and then I took my regular scissors and I just cut it. And I free cut it this way, and we're going to actually use one of the scraps coming up. But let's get some more vellum placed down on this page. You really don't need a ton here. Just want to get this kind of lined up here, and then I'm going to go ahead and start with this next one and get it going. Here we go. So it's about maybe a 1/2 inch from the top of the page, and then 3/4 inch between the pieces here. Rub your over where you can see your tape. Even though we'll be covering it a little bit, or part of these a little bit, it's still good to kind of go ahead and get your vellum in place nicely first. So with this one also, it was all one piece. This middle row was 7 inches for this piece. This one was 5.5 inches by 2.5. This was 3.5. So it just kind of is going to create an interesting little illusion on the page. The top one was 2.5 going across, and so again, this one was a 12-inch strip going across, and then I cut out, just found the center, and I kind of just took it out with my scissors again. And then this one, I was working with what I had. I cut the piece in half, and it wound up being 5.5 inches by 2.5 inches. Just lining this up through the center, and so you can see where they got. This one definitely is not as wide. These two match, and so it kind of wreaked havoc on my trying to design this and match everything up and make sure it kind of still looked cohesive on the page. If you can't figure out my talking about this like it's a saga here, it kind of has been a little bit. This one's going in the bottom. And yes, today was a good day. I already had this designed. I didn't have to worry about it. The top piece. Okay, so our mats. This one is one of our 4x6 mats. This one is a 5 7/8 by 3 3/4, which I know is a little bit more of an unusual size for what I usually do. But again, I was working with a scrap. I'm running low on this collection, and I kind of thought, you know what, let's show people how to use these up and use your scraps. This one also was another part of a scrap. I pulled out 2 peekaboo pockets because once I pulled this Love Fiercely mat, I saw all this blue here, and I thought, you know, that'd be cool to put a photo on, and how would it look with a peekaboo pocket over it as well. So this one's a 4x4 peekaboo pocket, and I figure you can put this up. You can leave this on the top, and you can put a photo back here and down here, or you can write a note on here or some journaling. There's a lot of different options of how you can use your peekaboo pockets. And then same here, this one's going to go up here, and you can use it to add a photo. You can use it to add some extra journaling, whatever you want. I'm going to pull the strip off that's covering the adhesive. I think this is, again, the hardest part of the peekaboo pockets is making sure you get the adhesive off your hand. And then I'm just going to line it up over here. Let me scoop myself over just a little bit, and okay. There we go. So I do have the pocket opening in the front, and I do have this paper up on purpose because it's going to go with what we're using on this other side of the page a little bit. I don't know. I just think it coordinates nicely with our mat here, and the paper coordinates nicely as well. So let's stick everything down here, grabbing my regular tape runner. Oops, we're going to get this left side of the page done. All right. And this part does follow the sketch a little bit more, I guess, if you will. It does have 2 photos, but I did add a third. Okay, am I straight? I feel like I'm a little bit off. How does that look? Okay, this one's a little bit crooked is what it is. All right, fix that. Okay, better. There we go. So I added this photo. Actually, this photo is now up here. I guess we could put it over here as well, but I just thought it looked a little bit better up here. So I moved it from the sketch a little bit. This way we also see a little bit more of the floral on here. and you still do see the rest of the vellum as well. So that's the left side of the page, kind of following the sketch a bit. And then the right side, kind of also, except I'm adding a mat and the peekaboo pocket, and you'll see here in just a moment. Whoops. Here we go. Okay, so again, on this right side, I'm actually going to scoot this over just for a moment so I can work on this a little bit easier and grab my little mat here so I can put down some of the vellum. This can be set aside. These two can come up. So this is going to be down here. This is one of our 4.5. No, this is actually a 4x6 as well. So I did use all totaled 3 4x6 mats. And then I did pull out a little embellishment I wanted to talk about. It's not really necessary, but it's just a little something you can add to your page later if you wish to, if you follow using Cue the Blue like I am. Always options. There are always options. And I always like to share different things you can do as well. And this one is also going to be using up a little bit of our scrap from cutting these pieces. So again, this one is 7 inches by 3.5 on the bottom. And then I just cut through here. It looks like it's about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch. Lining it up, I'm going to go ahead and burnish it real quick. And this really does, you can see how much lighter, whereas you can see the adhesive through here before I go over it. And you can use your multi-purpose tool as well if you don't have a bone folder. Right, use your finger if you don't have either one of those. So definitely much lighter. And we are going to be covering parts of it up as well. So I probably should get these 2 right-hand parts done. And figure about the 1/2 inch here, or 3/4, and the 1/2 inch from the top. So maybe I should have done these all at the same time, and maybe that will be next time. Okay, this is not even, so bring that down just a little bit. Okay, so there are those two. I'm going to go ahead and get some adhesive on these pieces, line those up, and then I'll go over everything with the bone folder in just a moment. Oops, I think I did that one upside down because my point doesn't quite match up, but that's okay. That's how we know that it was not quite perfect when I cut it. And that's, part of free cutting it. So on the Creative Memories blog, there is the suggestion on how to, you can just fold your paper and then cut it so that way your angles are all the same. And everything will look beautiful like on the sketch that they sent. Or you can do your own thing like I did and use up some scraps and use up 1 sheet of paper to do the top and the bottom strips. And then that way I didn't have any more scraps of the vellum except for the little pieces I'm going to show you that we can use as a embellishment on the page. here we go. Let's go ahead and add our mat that has our peekaboo pocket. I'm going to go ahead and adhere the mat first. I just really liked the sentiment on this mat. I'm not going to push it down all the way because I want to make sure I get my other pieces placed properly before I stick everything down, make sure that nothing's crooked, and try to make sense of this layout that I put together here. Which side was up on this one? I believe it was this one because of the lines. Yes, the lines ran the same way as the ones on the vellum. Okay. So where did I have it now? I think I had it around here. Which is going to cover up that. So maybe I had... Now this is what I get for not marking it, but that's okay. We're gonna work it out. We're gonna figure it out. I'm gonna get this done again. This, oh, I know, I did have that up there. Okay, because I was thinking we could use that on there for an embellishment. So this one I think was over here. This one is down here. So we've got this, plenty of lines coming across and through, and this is going here. Whew. Like I said, it took a couple hours just to get this one sorted out, measured, figured out how I wanted to do it, have the patterns cohesive and matched nicely. There's our peekaboo pocket. And I do have the pocket opening to the front and flipping up this way. So now this is what I have saved. I picked this little embellishment layer because I really liked how it complemented the colors. And I just loved how this one popped on top of this other one. But I also thought, I'm going to say, if you wanted to keep your scrap from cutting these out, you can also use that to frame your embellishment as well. So here is the left side of my page, and here's the right side. So you can kind of see how I really worked hard to repeat patterns and colors, and maybe I should have lined these up when I went to stick down the right side because they're not exactly lined up, but the top row is, which is great. In the album, it'll be a little bit separate, so you won't notice it as much. We are going to go ahead and put this one on a foam square. So this part is going to go down first. And this is from our embellishment pack. Like I said, I kind of like the dimensional look of adding this around it. It just kind of seems to complete it to me for whatever reason. We're going to use repositionable tape on this other embellishment. And then we'll get the vellum tape runner back out. And I think I am going to put that down on there. I just was debating it. You can leave me a comment and let me know, hey, I like using that leftover vellum as a highlight for the embellishment, or you can say, it's not my thing, but interesting idea. And if you like this layout, hit the like. YouTube loves it when the thumbs up is hit on the videos. Oops. And it does help me out with creating all of this content. I will have sketch. What sketch are we on? So we're on 10. So I'm going to be doing sketch 11 and 12. Goodness gracious. Coming up. It will be coming. So this kind of is going to run through here up to the top. Liked it lined up more with the top of the page a little bit. Pick this up. And again, just creating that extra layer of movement through the page. And I'm going to need to flip that over. I do some things left-handed, but I don't think I can do that. All right, there we go. What do y'all think? I hope you enjoyed seeing my interpretation of sketch number 10. And I also was able to incorporate the vellum and the peekaboo pockets. I sure appreciate you all continuing to vote on my community tab. I will have all of the finished sketches up as soon as they are done, but 1 through 4 and 5 through 8 are up if you'd like to go vote on those as well. Thank you so much for joining me. Until next time.